Baker's getting tired and in came Sweet Liaison to take.
Done our dough, chaps. We've done our dough.
Hello and welcome to another week of odds. This is now week 9 that we're up to, chasing the weekly profits on the AFL and horse racing. Last week we got exactly what we wanted, just a steady return, $58 out of the 50. Going in, it was a week where I didn't have a lot of time, so I wasn't looking to do too much and try and cram in too much form. It's a good lesson. It's always those weeks where, and it's anything in life where you've got a lot on with family, kids or sport, or anything where you just can't, if a big day of the race is what you're looking at and trying to make some money, like whatever it is that's more important than taking your time, like you don't want to overstretch yourself when you haven't got the resources or haven't got the time to research things. And just keeping it simple, like the promos are always great. Keep it to one horse per race. Just do like one exotic. Don't stretch yourself in terms of money, in terms of having to be involved in a lot. And that's sort of how I felt last week and even a bit this week. I'm just going to do the similar thing. Just Caulfield's a good meeting. It's the track where generally I've probably had more success at like a Flemington or a Moonee Valley where there's a distinct bias, but so I'm a bit reluctant to just bet everything at Caulfield, but it will be basically looking at that meeting. And then I'll do some bets at Randwick just based on the promos and just like taking one horse per race, just for a bit of variety to mix it up in case Caulfield is a bit diabolical. So looking at last week, 58 return on the races. Point King was the key. I liked it a lot early in the week, but then I went off it. I just thought maybe it would need a run, being an international, maybe Alder was more suited. And it was funny, it was 17 on the Thursday, same on the Friday, same even on the Saturday morning. It was still $16, and then by race time it was crunched into $8.50. So the stable definitely liked it, or someone liked it, and the win was good. So the bonus bet on that sort of saved the day. We had a couple of other favourites win, Y Marie. There was a few flops as well. Acromantula was no good in a lot of those early races. Lincoln Rocks was very good. I wasn't sure that Moonee Valley would suit it, but it won beautifully, whereas my Rockefeller, the other rocker in the race, just wilted out of it. So 58, very, very happy. Footy, it was a good bet because Collingwood were always, they were always winning. We had that 30-point line, which was just, the whole time it was just safe as. West Coast, sort of similar. They were losing by about 20 points, 25 points towards the end, but it was still within that 30, and then of course they came back to win. So that was safe as, and then who should it be? Who, of course, is it going to be? Essendon, obviously. We came very close to a $56 payout, which would have given us 3 weeks of good money to sort of be ahead. But Mac Andrew, after the siren, 1 point. So there we go. So anyway, $20 of bonus bets is great. It's great fuel for the racing. And a good question that you got out there might be, why do the bonus bets always get used on the racing? I find that it's just bigger payouts, and it's just better to use free money on riskless bets. There's someone who is a better mathematician than me will be able to actually work it out. But in my mind, when you have, say, like a $100 bonus bet, if you split it into $10 bonus bets and put those bets on 10 horses at 10 to 1, theoretically you should get one of them and you get $100 minus your 10 is 90. If you do the same thing with 2 horses paying $2 and one of them wins, you'll get 100 minus your 50 is 50. 50 versus 90. I'm sure that there's other variables involved, probably like that famous scene in 21 where he's got to choose between the 3 doors and then one door is eliminated, and then he can have the choice again, and by some way of proving it, it's better to switch from one door to the other. I'm sure there's something here that I'm not thinking of, but I'd love to know exactly why. But so far my running theory is if you've got bonus bets, use them on things paying better odds. Horses at 30 to 1, trifectas, quaddies even, go for the big money. So the bonus bets always get diverted to the racing away from the footy, unless there was a particular long multi that we wanted. Anyway, I digress. Looking at this week, we're going to get into Caulfield and a bit of Sydney. We are overall $160 up over the 8 weeks. We've outlaid $400. We've got back $560 on the racing. On the footy, we've outlaid $160 and got back $159.65. So we're back to where we started. But those bonus bets that we've been accruing in the weeks that we haven't won anything, that have gone to the racing, have allowed us to have those wins. Those bonus bets that have accrued from the footy that we've used for the racing have allowed us to have those wins that have had the big weeks where we've won, say, $100 profit or $90 profit. So it's essential. And when we do get the multis, it's great. So everything's ticking along into week 9. Let's go. Okay, so race 1 at Caulfield. This is a decent race. It's interesting because a lot of these horses are going to go for the front, whereas not as many are going to sort of sit back. Shame was really, really tough, especially at Mornington in its last run at Flemington. I love horses that are great at fighting to win, because that's something that when it comes down to the small margins, you want a horse that is going to dig and dig and dig. And Shame didn't, all the way down that straight, it did not look like it was going to win. It was sort of, it was there, it wasn't accelerating, it was sort of just in the pack. But it ended up being so tough and it stayed on. I do love that. I don't know if Caulfield's going to suit. It won't have that big long straight or big open ground to just continue to grind away. So this might suit horses that are a bit better at accelerating, but I just want to make a note of that for the future. It's a horse that I'll be backing when and where, especially circumstances suit it. So Shame's good. A Little Deep had a really good prep last time. It was quickly up to, it progressed through the grades, then it was up to Group 3, sort of hit a wall a bit out of its depth, but it was a really good challenge. So I like that and I think it's value. Sunset Dreaming ran in good group races in Queensland. If a lot of these horses come forward, that could be the horse that's going to, from barrier 6, going to go back, get a good run and sort of be able to circle them and win. It is favourite at $4. In that, I think there is actually good value. Cute As number 9 hasn't got a great Caulfield record, but it is, the form is better than it looks. And it's a more dangerous horse than it sort of seems. So I like that. And then Mighty had a recent win over Cavallo Ramponte, which won last week. So a race I won't invest too much on. I'll stick with Shame. You could easily go A Little Deep. You could easily go Sunset Dreaming. It probably makes more sense as a favourite. I might try and do 2. I might do 1 bet on Sunset Dreaming on the tab and then Shame on Sportsbet, so you can have the 2 bonus bets back. And then a Quinella, just for the horses mentioned, A Little Deep, Shame, Sunset Dreaming, Cute As, probably with some of the bonus bets that we've got. All right, race 2, small field. What's going to happen? Well, Rise at Dawn and Keats are both sort of leaders, so they should, from barriers 1 and 3, go forward. Rhapsody Chic is in good form, win, 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 win. Up in class, down in weight. So it's only going to have to carry 53. I tend to lean towards the horses that are, maybe have got more weight but are used to better class. Just a bit of an internal bias of my own. Devoted, the form is good, second up. You can make a very good case for it at 460. Showmanship was great last start. Before that, it had been contesting all these tougher races. It still hasn't got, well, I should say it has got a great record on good 5 from 5. It probably will rain either tonight, this is being recorded Friday, or tomorrow. I don't think it's going to affect the track too much though. So it probably will start good. It's a horse that likes to get back and run on, and I don't know if a small field's going to suit it. I feel like it might be better sort of rounding up a field. I don't know if it will get the same big pace sort of that Jimmy the Bear was setting last time. So Showmanship, definitely the class runner, but just not sure. I'll stick with... Rise of Dawn has been up for a while. That's the only thing that gets me about this. Like, we just sort of expect it to go and lead and be tough again, but it's hard to do. So I'll stick with Keats. I think the value is good first up, 12-1. Maybe, like in the previous race, do with like the tab Rise of Dawn, the other with Keats. And then I'll do some sort of just small trifecta where it's Keats and Rise of Dawn, Keats at Rise of Dawn field, just in case we're like right onto that. So that's race 2. Okay, race 3, the 1400 metres over 78 grade. Just Do It has been defying everybody, continuing to win. It's been winning at big odds, 20, 15, I think 7. But again, people just sort of, sometimes people just want to believe that horses are going to fail. They just that they see like a wide gate, a big weight, and they just don't want to be involved. So I feel like that 20-1 is just people saying like, we just don't know if Just Do It's going to win again, and we don't really want to be involved. So the value seems to be good. Cap de Joie has had good form in the previous prep. It's had a trial, it's run last, it's coming off a big layoff. Could win, could blow them away, could do nothing. Very hard to know. In Her Stride, it wilted last start and it was eased down. The rider wasn't really riding it out. Something might have gone amiss. Much better than that, obviously, $8.50 some value. Lover Zoo beat Marie last start, and that is very good form. 440 seems to be good value. It had to be Zoo, hasn't run well on dry tracks, so I was going to sort of leave that. Le Mans comes in with good staying form. Not sure first up Caulfield that will suit it. Electrona, really good form, deserves to be favourite at $3.60. So for me, I'll have something each way with a bonus bet on Just Do It. The odds are too good. And then for your sort of main bet, I'll do Lover Zoo. Great form, beat Marie. I'll just stick with it. And some sort of trifecta around Just Do It, In Her Stride, Lover Zoo and Electrona. Maybe even Lover Zoo and Electrona to roving bankers. I feel like it could be a race sort of dominated by the favourites. But not a huge betting one here. All right, race 4 at Caulfield over the 1100 metres 74 grade. Big field, lots of chances. Probably a good betting race in a sense, but it's just hard to figure out who it's going to be. Beast Mode, the form's been good. 2 kilo claim. I feel like it has got a lot to offer tomorrow at 12-1. 10 Commandments wants it wet. I'm sort of going to leave that. Amigo, I don't think Caulfield will suit it as much, so probably leave that. Go to Hollywood, I'm not that convinced. Bifrost at 30-1, I think represents good value. It could be one of those horses that runs into a place. Cavallo Ponte was good last time. Not sure about tomorrow. Prince Zero, probably the best form recently, running in all those Flemington listed straight races. It doesn't seem to like Caulfield that much. It is paying 5 from barrier 5. It sort of seems to be set up for it, and it's 5th run into the prep. It's just that Caulfield thing that worries me. I just don't know if it's a real performer here. So I'll put it in multiples, but I won't pick it as the standout selection. I do like More Mum. First up, barrier 8. The form's been good. 2 kilo claim. I just feel like that might get a decent run, a little bit off the pace. It's something I want to take a punt at the $13 fixed. It's currently 20 on the tote. I Miss Margie I was keen on last time. I just don't know if this race I'm as keen. Hello World from barrier 1 should go forward and lead. That's had good form. There's a lot of horses down here at the bottom. More Mum, I Miss Margie, Hello World and Bold Print that could offer a lot. So it just makes it such a tough race. So for me, I'll go More Mum each way. Probably will end up using some bonus bets in the bet sheet that I post at the end, maybe on a couple of the outsiders here, maybe something on I Miss Margie out of sentimentality, maybe something on Hello World in case it gets a good run leading. And then some sort of Quinella and also trifecta around 1 Beast Mode, 9 Bifrost, 14 More Mum and 16 Hello World. All right, race 5. Very small field, 1100 metres, the main stakes, Group 3. Blue Stradum was good winning out last time. This is a lot tougher. Interest Point was very good in its first prep. It really kicked away in one of those wins. Wonder Boy had a great win down the straight, came through in the middle of the pack and just out-sprinted them big time. It may have needed that big long straight to sort of wind up and show how tough it was. So it could be a different kettle of fish at Caulfield. Band of Brothers, I think it's too short. I think it should be longer odds than that. Let's Face the Music, sort of similar deal. I'm very interested in Interest Point. I think the 370 is great value, and it's won at Caulfield before, I do believe. Checking that, yes, it has. So that grabbed me, barrier 1. I want to be on that. And then maybe something could take that risk on Wonder Boy and sort of have them like a trifecta, like Interest Point and Wonder Boy first and second, and then the field for third. Maybe Winchester could get into a place. But for me, Interest Point, and it'll just be an interesting race to see. Always tricky when there's only 6 horses, you just don't know how they're going to settle. It can be like favourites can get a bit lost, for lack of a better word. So yeah, not a huge betting race for that one. Okay, race 6, 1100 metres, the Quezette Stakes, Group 3 for the fillies. This is a great race, so many chances and lots of value too. So Drifting was really good in the first prep. I feel like that's a really solid second favourite at 420. Bellatrix Star comes over from New Zealand, really good form, and the 23 seems overs. GG's Mistruth from Hobart, they very rarely sort of do well. I'm going to leave that one at the 850. It's going to go forward. I'm just hoping it gets a bit hassled in the lead. Madrina's going to go with it, so maybe they'll sort of take a bit away from each other and then leave it for the others to run on and do well. Kiroya Nagi, great first prep, ran 3rd in the big Group 1 at Caulfield. 320, yep, makes sense. Manolo Bling was really good in its one win. That's a serious horse, serious customer. Barrier 10, a little bit tricky. Berezka's been good in its 2 runs. I've been betting on it both times, 3rd and 4th. I don't know if it's suddenly going to turn the tables on these other ones, and also from barrier 1, if it's going to go back or what it will do. So out of sentimentality, I'll have it in multiples, but not super sure. I think just like Gabby's probably the best value runner. It's had that one run, it ran 4th. It was a bit of a sitting duck once it had sort of hit the front. I just think there's a lot of improvement potentially there. The breeding's good. $16 seems like a bit of a gift. And then barrier 2, there's a lot to work with. So it is a race where you could split it. I'll probably have a bonus bet because just like Gabby's longer odds, leave the bonus bet for that, do each way, as in bonus bet for the win. And then I'll do like a cash place bet. And then I'll take one of the favourites. It's just between Drifting and Manolo Bling with the other. Sorry, I should do like 2. So I'll do one with the tab, one with sports bet for the bonus bets back 2nd, 3rd. I'll do Drifting with one and Manolo Bling with the other. You could easily do Kuroyanagi. You could easily do Kuroyanagi. So just like Gabby, bonus bet, Drifting and Manolo Bling each way, and then some sort of Quinella trifecta. Drifting, number 1, Bellatrix Star, number 2, number 7, Manolo Bling, number 9, Berezka, number 11, just like Gabby. And we'll take on Kuroyanagi and see how that goes. Race 7, the Regal Roller Stakes, 1200 metres listed. Regal Roller was a great Caulfield horse, going to the lead. As the name suggested, just rolling along, blowing opposition away. This is a race with a lot of horses either first up or hard to line up. I really like Arkansas Kid. It's been running in such difficult races against such good opposition, Group 1s most of the time. Dropping back to listed here is such a gift. If you look at some of the horses it's been running behind, Osmosis, who won really well on Derby Day, Run Harry Run, who I have liked previously, Sebasana, Estrella, Jolly Star, Skybird, Benedetto, it's all quality. So for me, Arkansas Kid is a huge standout. I'm not really sure why. I must be missing something. I don't know why Mautai is $4.40. I feel like it's sort of battled in like a lower grade. Expressiveness, the New Zealander, I do like. That's first up. Good first up and second up record. It's got a wide barrier, but I'll be interested how that goes. It's Our Time. I want to draw attention to the fact it's had 8 runs at Caulfield for 7 placings. You don't see that very often. So that's definitely to consider at 10-1. And then Bandersnatch is a similar situation to Arkansas Kid. It's been running in Group 1s, group races in general, and could offer something really good tomorrow. The first up record's okay, 11 starts, 2 wins, 2 placings. Doesn't seem to like Caulfield that much, but it's always hard when you're racing in better grade. You might have sort of a record where you've had 5 starts and like 1 placing or 2 placings, but you've been running in much better races and losing by 2 lengths or a length, so it doesn't sort of mean that much. So I'm going to stick with Arkansas Kid. It's just got it's been running in such good grade. First up, barrier 2, $3.60. So I'll do that each way. And then Quinellas and trifectas, 1 Bandersnatch, 2 It's Our Time, 4 Expressiveness, 8 Arkansas Kid. The rest, they've all got their claims, but you got to draw the line somewhere, right? So that's what will be for race 7. All right, race 8, the PB Lawrence Stakes over 1400 metres, Group 2, the feature of the day. This is a cool race to sort of try and figure out. Pericles has got the best sort of credentials, I would say, similar to Arkansas Kid in the previous race. It's been running in such good quality racing, decent first up record. Caulfield should suit, $2.60 makes a lot of sense. I don't like Munamek as much here at Caulfield. I think it might sort of get stopped in its tracks tomorrow. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually don't mind Egon at $14. It's a high-class horse. It's got a record of 15 starts on a good track for 1 placing, which is just awful. It's just like beyond terrible. But it's been running in really good races, and it's a horse that, 4 starts at Caulfield, winning a placing. I don't know. Maybe I just want to believe that it's going to run well tomorrow, but I'll be taking it in some form. We know Buffalo River will go forward. It would help it if there could be a little bit of rain and the track could be soft. Doubtful though. But from barrier 3, it's a good value proposition. Pinstripe number 6, you don't often see a horse with 000 form paying $5.50. Again, it's been running in good races, deserves to be closer up. Gentleman Roy will go forward as well, probably take a bit away from Buffalo River. Banker's Choice, I'd rather bet on at Flemington, but I mean, that can surprise you at massive odds, and it's always massive odds, and it starts at 50 to 1, 100 to 1, 200 to 1. You know that it's going to be running a third or a fourth in those sort of races. Jimmy the Bear, loved it last time. It was so brave, almost won. I just feel like getting up to now 59 kilos, level weights, weight for age, yeah, not as keen. I think it's going to need time to adjust to that, or at least that's just my sort of taking of it. So what to do? This is a race where it's bonus bets back second to last on sports bets, so I'll need to bet on something at long odds for that promo. I think, funnily enough, it'll be Egg On. I'll have something for Egg On that promo, and then I'll use a regular bonus bet back second or third just on Pericles, sensible, straightforward. And then Quinellas and trifectas around Pericles, number 1, Egg On, number 3, Buffalo River, number 4, Pinstriped, number 6. And we'll just take on Jimmy the Bear, and take on Gentleman Roy, and take on Munamek. All right, race 9, last race of the day. Often these last races can be tricky. This one will really depend on how the track's playing. Likewise for those previous races, 7 and 8, you'll sort of get a better idea by the time it gets to this point. Really open and really no idea. The Open is second favourite at $4. It's been up for a long time though, a long time. LUU, number 16, is paying $2.30. Not super sold on it. The Open is, been up for a while, I'm not really sure. I really like Lounge Bar Ruby. It's paying 26, currently fixed odds. On the tab, it's, on the tote, it's 15. The form's been quite good, and it's had 4 starts at Caulfield for 2 wins, so it likes the track. Soft would be ideal if it's good, a little bit less, but 2 from 2 track and distance. And it's been really close up in a lot of these recent runs, losing by 2 lengths, 3 lengths. So I think the value there is good. So I'll be a bonus bet each way on Lounge Bar Ruby, and then some sort of Quinella trifecta. Centered around number 1, Running By, at 12 to 1. I think it's going to run well. Number 3, Lounge Bar Ruby, and I'll throw in number 8, The Open, just because it seems to be a solid and consistent performer. And then the rest, no idea. So it'll be a low betting race, this one. Okay, so that does Caulfield. Moving over to Rosehill, I'm just going to, these are I'm really just using the bonus bet promos here and a little bit of insight and form. I haven't gone deep into these. So the first race was just going to stick with the favourite Dawn Service. It's only a 7-horse field. There could even be more scratchings. It's slow at the moment. Dawn Service has got barrier 2, decent slow track form, so that will do as an each way bet. Race 2, sort of similar. I'll do Tartana. It is a bit longer odds. It's not really a favourite. It's 20 to 1, but I like the form. Barrier 8, 2 kilo claim, lightweight. There's a few things there that stack up for it. So something each way there at $19 to the win and 5 for the place. But this is an open race and really anything could happen. So, not huge betting. Race 3, I had a look at the favourites here. I wasn't that sold on InterVarsity, even Super Norwest, which was good for us the week before last. Not really convinced. There's a couple of outsiders that I like. Number 16, Giving Delight at $23, and number 21, Away Goes the Bunny, paying $34. They just seem to be have had good preps last time. Giving Delight sort of has only had the 1 win in the last 5 starts, but I just feel like it's been close enough. I'd like to just do bonus bets on those, and or actually one will be a bonus bet, one will be a bonus bet back scenario. I'll do the bonus bet back on the shorter price horse, so Giving Delight, and then a bonus bet on Away Goes the Bunny. Race 4, Small Field. Not super convinced on Lost at $2.80 or Get Along. So I like Weight of the Stars, number 1. It's got a lot of weight at 62.5, which is something to be concerned about. And I also like number 10, Piastri, with the good form from Victoria, Kieran Maher. So something, probably one with a tab, one with Sportsbet, each one on both of those, and then a trifecta with those to Roving Bank with the field. I think something at long odds might run a place here if Lost and Get Along don't run well. So trifecta 1 and 10 Roving Banker with the field, and then a Quinella 1 and 10, just I think straight out. We'll just see if we can get it. Race 5, keeping it super simple, just going with the favourite Sequestered. I think second up really suits it. Quality horse. I like the $3.70. I haven't looked too much at the others. It'll just be a small bet, trying to get the bonus bet back or winning preferably. Race 6, listed race over 1100. Again, small field. I like number 1, Shangri-La Express, and number 3, High Octane. Clear Proof's interesting. 1 run for a win at 100 to 1, paying $18 tomorrow. Interesting race. Tarpaulin's the favourite. Gatsby's right up there. A lot of them, small field, good form, hard to know. So I'll just do something each way on Shangri-La Express, something each way on High Octane. And then same as the previous race, a trifecta with those 2 to Roving Bank with the field, and then a straight out Quinella for those 2. This is the last race to use the bonus bets on, the bonus bet back promotion on. Number 7, Terramata, the favourite. Just a simple bet there. So really just keeping it light at Rosehill, not too much investigation, just a way to spread the bets, be a bit more diversified rather than going full tilt. All right, so having a quick look at the AFL. This was always going to be a tricky round. In the footy tipping, if you looked at this a few weeks ago, this always had sort of alarm bells on it. Essendon, Sydney. I'm surprised Essendon are so short here. I mean, Sydney was sort of back to, I wouldn't say back to their best last time, but certainly back to a good level of football. And it's always such a psychological boost when you win a game that you were behind in. So I feel like they're going to come in sort of at the top of their game. I know that Chad Warner's out, but I mean, Essendon have sort of let the season slip last time, so now they've got to beat the ladder leaders to sort of stay in it, and even then they're probably going to get overtaken. So not really sure. I mean, I think they'll still throw everything at it, but it's not something I can get super excited about. Suns versus Melbourne. This is almost a bit too obvious. Like, everyone is going to look at this in the tipping and just tip the Gold Coast. Melbourne can surprise. They can play well like they did against Essendon and like they did against Brisbane. It could be, the $1.40 seems like really good value for the Suns, especially after they've had their first away win. So that's something to highly consider for the multi. Giants versus Freo. Well, Freo had a big downer after losing to Essendon. I feel like it was more a case of them them playing poorly last week than necessarily Geelong playing really well. They lost Tracy before that match, and they've now lost Taberner. Not sure about if how Darcy's going, so it just seems like a tough proposition. It'd be cool if they won for the ladder to make it a bit more volatile. The $1.40 about the Giants does seem good value, considering they are just ticking along beautifully. That's another one to consider for the multi. Collingwood Brisbane at the MCG. I'd be more keen for Collingwood if sort of their big finale hadn't been last week. They threw everything at Sydney. It was sort of like season on the line. It's then hard to get up again for this, especially against such a tough opposition as Brisbane. Brisbane have got that hoodoo about losing to Collingwood lately, grand final last year, obviously early this year when it was that pivotal game where they both hadn't won. So in their minds, it'll be like, we can't beat these guys or we need to. It could actually be that if they're going to go into the premiership, they need to sort of get over this hurdle. So I feel like they will do it. I can't really say why. Like, it makes not much sense. Collingwood are very hard to beat at the MCG. It's another contender for the multi. Port Adelaide. The showdowns are just so hard. The form really means nothing. I want to believe that Port aren't that good and that they're going to drop out of the 4. Adelaide were great last week against the Dogs. They're worth a bet at $2.65. Taylor Walker's out. He's a bit of a talisman for them, but gee, they were pretty impressive otherwise. If Fogarty and Rochelle can get amongst it, it could be a great sight to see. So hoping that Adelaide can shake that one up. St Kilda Geelong. This is actually quite interesting because St Kilda have been so poor for most of the year. They were great against Essendon, arguably one of their best games, turned it on. I'm not that convinced on how good Geelong were last week. I feel like this, being at Marvel, it's just going to suit St Kilda. If it's a fast style of gameplay, it'll suit them. Tui and Tanner Bruhn are big outs for Geelong. I don't mind getting around St Kilda here, especially with a head start. Dogs versus North. What do you make of the Dogs after last week? I don't know. Does anyone? North have been pretty good lately. They'll be a bit shattered about that loss, but they'll probably do better than the $7.50 indicates. Hawthorn, Richmond. One team absolutely going places, one team absolutely going nowhere. It'd be great if Richmond could win and sort of halt Hawthorn's momentum just as an Essendon supporter, but can only hope for miracles. West Coast Carlton, one of the most intriguing matches of the week. West Coast were obviously going to be outsiders for this. Carlton have just been thoroughly decimated by injuries. And now Carlton are outsiders. I almost feel like Carlton have to win. The season's on the line. Having a whole bunch of new faces in a team say, more than 5 changes in a week is usually a very bad sign. On the flip side, it could inject a lot of freshness and speed and different and unpredictable avenues to goal. It's sort of maybe hard for a defence where you're playing against a forward line that you don't really know how they're going to go, how they're going to roll, what they're going to do. Carlton just really need to win. I mean, West Coast have been really good under Schofield. They're probably going to turn it on for Gaff's last go at Subiaco, at Optus Stadium. So there's just multiple things to sort of compare. And for people who, in the tipping, it's sort of a pivotal game where they might need to take Carlton to try and claw points back on a leader. So distilling all of that down, I'll probably stay away from the Carlton West Coast just for the betting because it's too volatile. I'll do St Kilda with a points head start, around about 25-point head start. Similar with Adelaide, probably Adelaide with a 30-point head start. And then do the Giants at $1.40. So 3 legs. Consider taking the Gold Coast, maybe just a bit too... It's not really dicey, but I might just leave it to 3 legs, a bit more manageable. So we'll do a $20 multi on that. Let's post it up on the screen. So that does it for this week. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. We're just trying to not take on too much risk and just sort of get back another return, and we'll sort of wait for a more exciting meeting betting wise, but it's still a great race day. Very interesting, the start of spring. Good luck. Check us out on Instagram. There'll be more clips. We're going to post a special episode soon, an interview episode, and good luck for your betting. Spring is starting, spirits are high. Hopefully you've been winning and having steady returns, which is the whole thrust of this betting schedule and regime. And yes, we'll see you next week.
Done our dough, chaps. We've done our dough.